Hello, dear viewers and subscribers. Thank you for joining me on another exciting journey into the wonders of ancient history. If you love exploring ancient civilizations, uncovering mysteries, and learning about fascinating cultures, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more captivating content. Your support helps me continue sharing these incredible stories with you. Today, we're diving into the sacred city of Abydos, one of the most important sites in ancient Egypt. In this episode, we'll explore the early history of Abydos, starting with the Naqada culture, the role of Abydos in unifying Egypt under the first pharaoh, Menes, the magnificent temples, including the Great Temple of Osiris, the Temple of Seti I, and the mysterious Osireion, the royal tombs, including those of Narmer, Djer, and Senusret III, as well as the Pyramid of Ahmose. The myths of Osiris, Isis, Anubis, and other gods connected to Abydos. Modern connections, including Seti's remarkable story and the St. Damiano Monastery. So, sit back and get ready to uncover the secrets of Abydos, the bridge between the worlds of the living and the divine. Let me take you on a journey to Abydos, one of the most sacred and fascinating cities in ancient Egypt. Picture a city on the western bank of the Nile, brimming with history, mystery, and spirituality. This is where Egypt's story of unity began, and where gods and mortals came together in a profound dance of worship, power, and myth. Before Abydos rose to prominence, the nearby city of Tinis was one of the most powerful and influential centers in Upper Egypt. Tinis is often considered the birthplace of the early dynasties, including the rulers who unified Egypt. Known as the capital of the legendary Tinite Confederacy, it served as the political and cultural hub during the pre-dynastic and early dynastic periods. The connection between Tinis and Abydos is undeniable. Many of the early kings of Tinis chose to be buried in Abydos, reinforcing the sacred status of the city as a spiritual heartland. These rulers, including Narmer and Djer, sought to align their legacy with the divine, ensuring their place in the afterlife under the protection of Osiris. Tinis and Abydos worked in tandem to establish the foundations of a united Egypt. While Tinis served as a center of administration and governance, Abydos became the spiritual epicenter, embodying the divine authority of the kings. Over time, Abydos eclipsed Tinis in religious significance, becoming the ultimate destination for pilgrims seeking to honor the gods and their ancestors. Imagine this. Over 5,000 years ago, Abydos was already bustling with life during the Naqada culture. It wasn't just a city, it was a hub of trade, craftsmanship, and community. People here were laying the very foundations of ancient Egyptian civilization, creating the tools and traditions that would shape a kingdom. Fast forward to the time of Menes, the first pharaoh, the unifier of Upper and Lower Egypt. Abydos played a central role in this monumental event. Can you feel the weight of history here? This is where early rulers were buried, their tombs connecting them to the gods. Menes' unification wasn't just political, it was divine, and Abydos was the heart of it all. Now, let's talk about the gods. Abydos wasn't just a city. It was the sacred home of some of the most powerful and revered deities in ancient Egypt. The Lord of the Afterlife, Osiris, symbolizes resurrection, justice, and the eternal cycle of life and death. His story of betrayal and restoration, with his body scattered by Seth and reassembled by Isis, captivated the ancient Egyptians and became central to their religious beliefs. Osiris represents hope for eternal life, and his connection to Abydos made the city a spiritual epicenter. Osiris' wife and one of the most beloved goddesses, Isis is the embodiment of magic, motherhood, and healing. Known for her determination, she used her immense magical powers to bring Osiris back to life and protect their son, Horus. In Abydos, her presence is felt as the ultimate protector and nurturer, inspiring devotion and reverence. The god of chaos, storms, and destruction, Seth played the villain in the myth of Osiris. Despite his negative role, Seth was also respected for his strength and unpredictability. He was a reminder of the balance between order and chaos that the Egyptians believed governed the universe. the jackal-headed god of mummification and the afterlife, Anubis watched over the dead and ensured their safe passage to the next world. His association with Abydos stems from his role in funerary practices, where he prepared the deceased for their journey to join Osiris. An early god of the dead, Khentiamenti was closely linked to Abydos before merging with the cult of Osiris. His name means foremost of the Westerners, symbolizing his dominion over the land of the dead. He paved the way for Osiris to become the ultimate ruler of the underworld. Abydos holds a profound mystery that has captivated historians and pilgrims for centuries, the possibility that it was the site of the real tomb of Osiris. Ancient Egyptians believed that Osiris, the god of the afterlife, was buried in Abydos, specifically in a symbolic location within the city. This belief made Abydos the focal point of Osiris worship, drawing countless pilgrims who sought to honor the god and connect with his promise of resurrection. The city's necropolis, including the Osireion and the tomb of Djer, was considered sacred ground, deeply tied to Osiris's mythological legacy. The rituals and festivals held here, such as the Mysteries of Osiris, often emphasized the belief that Abydos housed the remains or the essence of the god himself. This association with the divine afterlife transformed Abydos into one of the most revered sites in ancient Egypt. At the center of it all was the Great Temple of Osiris. This wasn't just a temple, it was the spiritual heart of Abydos and a beacon for worshippers across Egypt. The temple was the site of grand festivals, including the famous Mysteries of Osiris, where priests and pilgrims reenacted the god's death and resurrection. Can you imagine the awe of standing among thousands of devotees, watching the rituals unfold in vivid detail? The temple's halls were filled with statues, offerings, and inscriptions honoring Osiris and his role as the Lord of the afterlife. The carvings here are among the most intricate in Egypt, telling stories of the gods and their connection to humanity. Its central sanctuary, believed to be the symbolic resting place of Osiris, was a place of profound reverence. The temples of Abydos are nothing short of breathtaking. Can you imagine walking through these sacred halls? The Temple of Seti is a masterpiece of art and devotion. This temple was built by Pharaoh Seti I and completed by his son, Ramses II. Its 7 sanctuaries are dedicated to Osiris, Isis, Horus, Ammonius, Ptah, Rehorikti, and Seti himself. The walls are adorned with some of the most vivid carvings in Egypt, including the Abydos King List, a chronological list of pharaohs that provides invaluable insight into Egypt's history. Every relief seems to come alive, narrating tales of gods, rituals, and royal legacy. The Osireion located behind the Temple of Seti, the Osireion is an enigmatic and awe-inspiring structure often regarded as a symbolic tomb of Osiris. This ancient monument showcases remarkable engineering, with massive granite blocks forming its core. At the heart of the Osireion lies a sunken pool of water, representing the primeval waters of creation known as Nun in Egyptian mythology. The constant presence of water reinforces its connection to rebirth and eternity. The structure features towering columns and surrounding chambers, likely used for religious rituals that reenacted the resurrection of Osiris. Its stark simplicity contrasts with the ornate temples nearby, adding to its aura of mystery and spiritual significance. The Osireion is aligned with the Temple of Seti I, emphasizing the sacred planning of Abydos as a city dedicated to the divine cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Visitors often describe the Osireion as a place where the boundaries between the physical and spiritual worlds feel tangibly close. The Temple of Ramses II is a grand expression of power and piety. This temple was built by Ramses the Great to honor Osiris and himself. Its walls depict scenes of Ramses' military victories alongside offerings to the gods, blending earthly accomplishments with divine devotion. The temple's craftsmanship reflects the height of New Kingdom artistry, with vibrant carvings and towering columns. Abydos is also home to the royal necropolis, where Egypt's first rulers were laid to rest. Imagine the reverence felt here, surrounded by tombs like the Tomb of Djer. This tomb, once believed to be the burial site of Osiris, is one of the oldest in the necropolis. It dates back to the First Dynasty and stands as a testament to the deep reverence Egyptians held for their early kings. The tomb was later associated with the Osiris cult, becoming a pilgrimage destination. The Tomb of Narmer. This tomb belongs to the legendary unifier of Egypt, Narmer. His tomb reflects the early architectural styles of royal burials, featuring distinct mud brick designs. Narmer's role in unifying Upper and Lower Egypt made his burial site a symbol of national pride. The El-Quib Cemetery is known as the Mother of Pots. This vast burial ground contains the tombs of multiple kings from the First and Second Dynasties. The area is littered with fragments of offerings left by ancient pilgrims, reflecting the site's importance as a place of veneration for centuries. The Tomb of Senusret III. Located in South Abydos, this tomb is a marvel of Middle Kingdom engineering. Senusret III, one of Egypt's most powerful rulers, built this tomb to reflect his strength and vision. The site includes a subterranean complex with intricate corridors and chambers, highlighting advancements in architectural design. The Pyramid of Ahmose, situated in Abydos, this pyramid marks a transition from the grand pyramid structures of the Old Kingdom to simpler designs of the New Kingdom. Built by Pharaoh Ahmose, the founder of the 18th dynasty, it stands as one of the last royal pyramids ever constructed in Egypt. The pyramid is surrounded by a mortuary temple and smaller chapels, blending Old Kingdom traditions with new funerary practices. Although it is now heavily eroded, the structure once symbolized Ahmose's efforts to unify Egypt and reassert pharaonic power after the Hyksos occupation. Now, let's explore Shunet el-Zebib, a monumental mud brick fortress that towers in the desert near Abydos. Built by King Kheskamwe during the Second Dynasty, it's one of the oldest and best preserved examples of monumental architecture in Egypt. This massive structure is thought to have served both as a royal palace and as a mortuary temple, connecting the king's earthly rule with his divine afterlife. The walls of Shunet el-Zebib stand over 12 meters tall and enclose a vast courtyard where rituals honoring the deceased king may have taken place. Scholars also believe this fortress inspired later architectural achievements, including the Grand Pyramids. The design of Shunet el-Zebib, with its towering walls and ceremonial spaces, symbolized the king's authority and his connection to the gods. It was not just a fortress, it was a testament to Kheskamwe's power and a gateway to understanding early Egyptian beliefs about kingship and the afterlife. And then there's the Pega Gap, a natural cleft in the cliffs west of Abydos. This gap wasn't just a geological feature, it held profound spiritual significance for the ancient Egyptians. They believed it was a gateway to the underworld, the Duat, where souls of the deceased began their journey to the afterlife. The Pega Gap was a focal point for funerary processions and rituals. Priests would lead sacred ceremonies here, invoking the protection of the gods for the deceased's safe passage through the challenges of the Duat. The dramatic cliffs framing the gap seemed to symbolize a passage between the world of the living and the unseen realm of the dead. Pilgrims who came to Abydos often visited the Pega Gap, leaving offerings and prayers to honor Osiris and seek blessings for themselves and their loved ones. This natural feature, steeped in mythology, anchored Abydos as a bridge between the earthly and divine. One of the less explored yet fascinating features of Abydos is the ancient canal described by the Greek geographer Strabo. This canal connected the city of Abydos to the Nile River, allowing for easier transportation and trade. The canal not only facilitated the movement of goods and people, but also served as a vital lifeline for religious pilgrims traveling to Abydos to honor Osiris and other deities. The canal would have been a bustling waterway, lined with boats carrying offerings, building materials, and travelers. Its existence highlights the strategic importance of Abydos and its integration into Egypt's larger economic and cultural network. Strabo's account of this canal gives us a glimpse into the infrastructure that supported Abydos' growth as a spiritual and administrative center. In the heart of Abydos, history continues to echo through the ages. One remarkable example is the St. Damiana Monastery, a Christian sanctuary built over an ancient mastaba. This site, once part of Egypt's prehistoric burial traditions, symbolizes the seamless layers of Abydos' spiritual history. The monastery, named after Saint Damiana, reflects the continuity of Abydos as a sacred space, revered not just by the ancient Egyptians, but also by Christian communities. Visitors to the monastery can sense the deep reverence of the site, where the ancient and the modern intersect. Beneath the Christian architecture lies a mastaba, one of the earliest types of tomb structures, showcasing the enduring sanctity of Abydos as a place where the divine and mortal realms converge. One of the most fascinating figures tied to Abydos in modern times is Dorothy Eady, better known as Seti. A British-born Egyptologist, Seti believed she was the reincarnation of a priestess from ancient Egypt who served at the Temple of Seti. Her life and work in Abydos brought renewed interest and devotion to the city's rich history. Seti claimed to have vivid memories of her past life, including her relationship with Pharaoh Seti. These recollections guided her archaeological research, often leading her to make remarkable discoveries. For example, she correctly identified previously unknown features of the Temple of Seti, including hidden gardens and inscriptions, which were later confirmed through excavations. Her predictions and insights extended beyond archaeology. She believed Abydos retained a mystical connection to the gods and often shared her spiritual experiences with visitors. Despite skepticism, her dedication and passion for Abydos earned her the respect of locals and scholars alike. Seti lived in Abydos until her death in 1981, leaving behind a legacy of both scholarship and mysticism that continues to captivate those who explore the city. For thousands of years, Abydos was a pilgrimage site. Imagine the festivals, the mysteries of Osiris, where crowds reenacted the god's death and resurrection. These rituals promised eternal life to those who believed, keeping the city alive in the hearts of its people. Abydos isn't just a city, it's a bridge between worlds, a testament to Egypt's spirituality and unity. From the Naqada culture to the grand temples of Seti and Ramses II, Abydos is where history, myth, and devotion come together. Even today, its story inspires awe and reminds us of a civilization that saw life and death as part of an eternal journey. Let Abydos tell its story to you, a story of gods, kings, and a sacred city that shaped a kingdom.